Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ginger Broderick, and I'm the host of the Ginger New York TV show. Welcome to Live Ginger New York on Friday afternoon here at GNY TV Studios. We are thawing out for the cold winter that we've been dealing with, and who do I have as my guest today? My guitar teacher. It's Shane Chapman. Hey. And you brought another friend.
Hi, Emilio.
Emilio.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. I understand you're a guitar teacher too at New York City Guitar School.
Exactly.
And I've been a student there for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
He's been very patient with me.
You've been great. You're a great student.
And I love going to your classes, and thanks for not yelling at me. And I'm learning so much, and I can't wait. And you had a performance with another group this last weekend. I got to see you in action, singing, playing the piano.
Yeah, you're very supportive. You come to the shows.
Oh, yeah. And you actually have some fans in the audience,
we
too.
Do.
So
we do.
that'd be good to, like, wave.
Shout out to Alitra and Roy.
Yeah, we have.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, wonderful. Thanks for coming in.
Of course. This is amazing. I can't believe, like, this is crazy. Like, right before we're gone, the camera's like... fixing microphones like 20 seconds ago, and here we are.
That's pretty remarkable.
Look,
it's amazing, right?
I've been on shows before. I've seen shows, right? And I noticed that they bring gifts for the host a lot of the time, right? So I brought you some stuff.
Are you serious?
We don't have our new album yet, but this is our previous album.
Wow.
Okay, so I brought you a copy of that.
Yay.
So you can listen to it. And I also brought you this VHS copy of Wayne's World.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is no story behind that. It's just a classic film, you know?
Party on Wayne, Party on Darth.
That you can use if you have a VCR. And if not, then...
I actually do.
If you have you do?
Yeah, I do.
There it is.
You nailed it.
There it is.
Yeah, this blonde hair hides a lot of age.
It's a classic.
But we also have some equipment upstairs to transfer it to a DVD. So if you would like a copy of it.
As long as we don't let Paramount know. That's good.
Oh, okay. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Thank you so much, because I don't always get gifts, but I really appreciate when I do.
Oh, yeah,
you know, I really do. But I must have an autograph from you guys. You know, after the show, I don't think I have.
You can't autograph a Spotify playlist. You know.
You know.
The album is still alive.
You know, I've talked to some musicians. They're coming out with you know, the big albums with covers so that they can actually have good material to sign autographs.
Yeah.
Right?
You gotta sign something.
Yeah, and it's a great marketing idea. Yeah. And I understand that you have a band together. You're two of a group of 4 or 5.
There's four of us.
Yeah. And anacortes, is that?
Anacortes.
Anacortes.
Yeah.
And that is named after?
It's named after my hometown, where I'm from, in the Northwest.
Northwest?
Yeah.
Very. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, so you know what I do? I write down the names, and I go on Google, and I take a look to see where these towns are, and you made a big trip to move to New York City.
Yeah, it's about as far, you know, in the country as you can move from, I guess. It's
Pretty
it's a beautiful, beautiful town, by the way. It's just an amazing place, and it's full of great musicians, and it's you know.
It's in Oregon?
No, it's in Washington, Northwest Washington. We're only like 20 minutes, 30 minutes from the border up there. We're just about,
wow, so it really is probably the longest distance, you know, to New York City?
In the contiguous United States.
It's in the corner, up there in the corner. Yeah, I guess I could have moved from Hawaii, but yeah. Yeah.
And how about you, Emilio? Are you from here?
I made the long trip from Chicago, which is not nearly as far, but I'm originally born and raised in Chicago.
Well, good
and
for you.
I came out to New York a little over 10 years ago.
Good for you.
And yeah, I've been playing a lot of music pretty much ever since, but yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to link up with the guitar school, which you're a student of. I'd say about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And Shane was one of the first people, I think, who I actually met affiliated with the guitar school.
Because you were first in the Brooklyn location,
not
right?
to mention, Emilio's just gotten engaged.
Oh,
I did just get engaged.
Wow.
Also,
that's
a
true.
guitar school connection.
Really?
Yeah,
wow. So, hey.
That's very true. Yeah.
Really?
I think, and that's actually something we both share.
Was it a student of yours?
No, not a student
Because
particularly.
that could be, you know.
I know.
That would be scandalous.
That would be scandalous.
Yeah.
No, she was somebody who I met. She was renting a guitar. She was waiting to rent a guitar. And she came to one of our satellite schools, which I was a teacher at, and we started talking. Yeah, and that's how it all began.
That's wonderful.
She was in one of my classes.
She was in one of your classes.
Does she have a name?
She has a name. Her name is Elizabeth Early. She is the dance captain of Hello Dolly on Broadway.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
How
she is.
wonderful.
Fun fact.
Yeah, fun
about
fact.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Wow.
She's amazing.
Well, we'd like to meet her.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You know, that's one thing about my show. Like, we're family. We ask a lot of personal questions. Not really, but I'm from the Midwest as well.
Awesome.
further out from Chicago in a town called Sterling, Illinois, so it's past Aurora.
Oh, yeah.
So you might
Okay.
know that. And my mom always watches, so thanks, Mom, for watching. She watches the live feed on the show, so she always checks out the show, and she gives her comments, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So she'll give a critique about us today.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
be nice.
Always,
right?
always nice to get the critique from the parents.
Yeah, right? And congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate
you're
it.
married.
Yeah.
How many years have you been married now?
5 and
years.
like 5 and 5 days.
Wow.
I think, yeah. We just
Congratulations.
had our anniversary, our 5-year anniversary.
Good for you. That's really wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm always, you know, I believe in the theory of marriage. I really do, and I think it's great that.
Which one? Which theory is that? Stick
So
with it,
let's
right?
talk about you guys.
Okay.
So you guys got together through the guitar school, and then you formed this band,
Yeah.
right? And you have this is your first album. You're actually releasing your second album. So
Yeah.
is that correct?
This is the second album. The first album, the one that you're holding right there, was the first time we collaborated.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but those songs are predominantly Shane's. Shane.
This new
Yeah.
album is much more. Been much more of a collaborative effort. Actually, Emilio came in right as those songs were getting finished up, and
Yeah.
just came in
Oh,
and just
wow.
sprinkled his magic on them. We went in the
Interesting.
studio and recorded them, and we've been playing together ever since.
Yeah.
You know, I have a business background, and I'm always fascinated by creative types. And, you know, since coming here, I've had to learn what collaboration is. But that's what you guys do all
It's
the
terrifying.
time.
It's really. It's
You
just,
guys argue?
Yeah,
Do
it's
you
kind
guys
of tough.
argue?
It's
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's.
How do you
first,
argue and still stay friends? Because I'm like,
I think
hey,
we're pretty
listen-
good at it.
Really?
I think we are pretty
Yeah.
good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have and it's a lot of times the same argument.
Is it?
Yeah, we argue, about like lyrics. Like I tend to be very ambiguous with my
Oh,
lyrics. I
interesting.
like Radiohead lyrics, the kind of lyrics at the end of the song that you're like, oh, that sounds really cool, but I'm not sure what it's about, And I like to leave a lot of like ambiguity there for people to kind of put the and
Have
Emilio-
imagination for it.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
Emilio, I think, prefers to like have more of a clearer story in the thing.
Sure.
And I think that we both benefit from pulling each other in that. In the middle of
Yeah.
that, because it is good for a song to have story. And I was just thinking about the lyrics on that album and how if we had been collaborating back then, some of them probably would be different. We go
Interesting.
back and forth about lyrics a lot. So.
It's
Probably.
almost like John Lennon and Paul McCartney, right?
It's
Wow.
exactly like John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Yes. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I don't know for certain if that's
Yeah,
the case,
yeah.
but I would assume that it's somewhat similar.
You're more the writers of the group.
Yeah, I mean, for this project, essentially, what happened is once we agreed that we were excited enough to want to continue with the project and kind of actually record another album, I came in with some ideas. Shane had some ideas. There were some songs that kind of came in almost fully formed. That just sort of needed some sort of tweaking. There were others that came in through ideas that were much more spur of the moment. Let's just run with this. But yeah, I'd say we had about 13 or 14 songs. And
Yeah,
10
there were
made
songs
the cut.
that didn't make it. Yeah, didn't
Yeah.
make it on the album. It's always good to have a couple of songs that are extra.
I went to see Orianthe. Do you know who she is? And she's from Australia, and she was a guitarist in Michael Jackson's band, and she hooked up with
That's how I know of her. Yeah.
Sambora from
Richie
Bon Jovi.
Sambora?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they said that they've been together, I think, like 4 years, and they just wrote tons of songs. They have inventory like crazy.
Yeah.
And is songwriting an easy process for you, or do you struggle with it?
I definitely struggle
Pulling
with
teeth.
Do you?
Yeah, it's literally like the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But it's
Some people can write it right away,
Yeah.
and then some it could take years. And then
Yeah.
I remember reading or listening to an interview by John Legend, and he said he can sit down and it's almost like a homework assignment, and by
Yeah.
the afternoon he's done.
Yeah, it's hard to write a great song, a good song even. It's not that hard to write a bad song.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times
That's a
I
good
set
point.
out to just do that. I specifically say, all right, well, I'm not having any success. I've been sitting down here for an hour trying to write a good song. Forget it. I'm just going to write a bad song. And some of those bad songs turn out to be pretty good, actually.
Oh, really
So,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
wouldn't
go
get-
back, revisit them, and edit them.
Okay.
Or sometimes put two bad songs together.
Oh, interesting.
Like a Paul McCartney Abbey Road type of way, and it's like all of a sudden it's interesting, unique, a clever key change in there maybe. And,
If you really put two together.
yeah.
I wouldn't get past the word the.
Yeah, that's the trick. If you can get a couple words down on the page, now you've started, and the rest is
I've been
much
writing
easier.
a book for 20 years and I just can't get past the title, you know, but I'm full of stories. But, you know,
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what
it's
songwriting
the same
is.
exact thing,
I think one of the things that I discovered for myself in working with this record, this was truly the first time I felt like
This is
I
your
grew
first
up-
album?
Well,
Did
no,
you?
I mean, this is the first
Shane.
time, it's my first time collaborating
Okay.
with somebody in the vein of kind of indie rock music.
Okay.
I have a lot of interests, and I play in a couple other bands, and I grew up loving a lot of Motown music, and so
okay.
a band that I'm in kind of has more of an R&B feel, and I've been writing with those guys for a while, but indie rock and rock music was very near and dear to me. I grew up in the 90s where there was a lot of, alternative rock was kind of a big sound.
Right,
So I think there was always kind of a rock project in my heart.
Got it.
And so this is the first time I think I actually collaborated in in this
interesting.
vein. And I found that I had to not think of everything that I did as being really precious. That's part of a problem I think that or I shouldn't say a problem, but it's something that a lot of songwriters or creative types kind of come up upon. Is you think about that your book and your title, and you're like, I have a title, and you think really you're like, it's got to be this title, or I don't know, maybe it could be this, I'm not sure, but you really hold on to some of these concepts. And sometimes you have to, like Shane said, you have to be okay with writing something that's bad, because that bad thing can always get edited, or you can always totally scrap it, but in having written the bad song, you actually open up or unlock something in your brain to write a better song. So that was a big thing that I found for this project.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I remember reading an interview with Yoko Ono. She said that John had a writer's block, and he was out on a boat, and it came upon a storm, and it was lucky that he survived that, but the creative juices just really flowed after that experience.
Yeah, there's nothing like a traumatic, life-threatening experience. But sometimes you can just go to the museum too. That's fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I look forward to taking songwriting courses at the school, and I've had a guest here who actually got a degree up at Berkeley
Oh, nice.
College of Music, just specifically on songwriting.
Yeah,
it
they
was
offer
really-
some online courses. I've dabbled in that whole
They
thing
have
too.
a new satellite location here in the city too.
Oh,
Did you
great.
know that? Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
it's new. It's new. No. Yeah. Guitar. They offer to guitar. Very good. And that's really great. So you're going to be singing a few songs today.
Yeah.
And but I have a few other questions.
Find the best one. Which one's the best question?
Well, what do you think I should do? The creative advice. Here's one.
Okay.
What is a creative advice that you can offer to youth of today or a young you?
Yeah.
Thanks
right?
for these
Yeah.
questions, by the way. They're very good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I thought I didn't
I
want to
cheat.
say what advice would you give to an aspiring songwriter, because I am still one in so many ways.
We're all
So I
aspiring
thought, well,
songwriters.
what would I tell myself if I was you? What would you say to yourself, a young Emilio?
I think I would go back to that thing I mentioned, is try not to be precious about everything that you
Okay.
write. When I first started writing music, at the tail end of high school and then in college, I found that I would maybe average a song a year, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Something
Yeah.
like that. You'd have a
Yeah.
zillion ideas, but then it would really only funnel down into one thing.
Interesting.
And you would hold on to it really tightly. Don't hold on so tightly. Just
Get it down.
Just get it down. All those little ideas. Just try to run with it. Create something, and the output is going to happen.
And look what happens. You
Yeah.
bump into somebody who has experience and can help cultivate it.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have a rock band, right,
Yeah.
together. How do you put the whole package together? Because, recording is expensive. Do you have to pay all the artists? I mean, what do you do? I mean, do you do a crowdfunder, like a Kickstarter?
A lot of people
Think
do.
so?
I see people do that. We've never
Because
done
you're
that.
out performing too,
Yeah.
so you have to pay the musicians or,
Yeah.
the venue. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how
I
it
mean,
works.
the nice thing is, at least the other two musicians in the band, they are. It's not necessarily they're not really hired guns, I would say.
They have
To the extent that we can, we all try to make sure that we are taken care of. you know, ourselves, but then them as well. But it's not really like a hired gun type of situation.
Okay.
They're both.
You're all
they're-
friends. And
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all friends, and they, you know, Gent, who is the bass player, he had a lot of input in the process of writing this, writing and composing and arranging the songs, and Jim, you know, Jim as well in his own way kind of has contributed a lot.
drummer?
Yeah, our drummer. Yeah, so
I'd like to meet him. I'm a drummer fan.
there we go. There we go. Yeah, he's a great drummer.
But it is, I mean, even if you have your all best friends in the band and everyone's working for free, it's still very expensive to make an album and to do a good
Yeah.
album. And to
Yeah.
answer your question, credit cards, I think, is my main go-to. when
Savings.
Yeah, savings.
Yeah.
See, that's, I think that kind of sums up the difference.
Well, you guys, you know, once you pass through my show, you just really take off.
This is it.
There we go.
Yeah, we
This
call
is the ginger bump.
That's right,
That's
the
right.
GNY bump, we call it. Yeah, you go to another stratosphere, and that separates you from
Yeah.
from all the other, you know, young folks out there that are starting out, because not everybody passes through.
There we go.
You know,
true.
that's really great. How do you fit all of this in, you know, with your busy life? I mean, you know, you're married and you're working full time, and like,
Yeah, you know, sometimes I think about like,
do you have like a Saturday afternoon that's always devoted to this? or-
yeah, that would be great, right?
Oh,
That
I mean,
would be awesome.
I try to do it every day, and that's something
Oh,
that
really?
that I am always telling my students, do it every day, practice every day. And for me,
That's
it's
right.
songwriting. I try to practice it every day.
Oh,
Not successful
interesting.
all the time. You know, we teach. I'm teaching a couple of days a week. I know you're in like.
I teach about 5 days a week.
Do
but
you really?
Yeah, and then I teach.
God bless you guys.
I do travel lessons on my own, and I play in a wedding band, Storytellers of New York City,
Oh, wow.
and I've been doing that for about 5-6 years now.
Very good.
So there's that. We all stay super busy, but
we're in other projects.
We're in other
you know,
projects.
it's hard. It's like sometimes I think about like really great like performers like Yo-Yo Ma. You know, like he plays the cello. What does he do besides the cello? Like probably not much, right? He's probably playing the cello all the time. Sometimes I'm jealous of that because like I'm playing guitar one day and then I think I'll get a little better at piano and then I should probably learn about audio production. And when you start spreading yourself out with everything that you add.
Well, that's a creative mind, though.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know
No.
what I tell people: you can do all of those things. It just you can't do them all at the same time.
Yeah,
right,
you
know?
really can't.
But
And-
I want to do. And you know, I'd love to go to the guitar school every single day.
Yeah.
But I can't. You know. But I really enjoy it. So I guess you just you know,
Yeah.
it's a process.
You just kind of have to do it and not worry about whether or not you're doing a really great job of it every single day. Just like keep doing it. Kind of
keep
thing,
doing
yeah.
it,
Yeah,
right?
I
Don't
would
be hard
agree.
on yourself. You know.
Yeah. I also just planning, scheduling.
Okay.
You know,
Oh yeah, that's helpful. I've been trying
Yeah.
to do more of that this year.
totally.
Once
Same
a
here.
week, you sit down and you just plan everything out for the week. And yeah, I haven't done that yet, 2018 yet. But,
Well,
I
there's
was
still
doing good.
time.
There is still time.
Yeah.
You have. We're just thawing out. You know.
Yeah.
so
We are, I know.
Don't be
I
hard
know.
on yourself,
Yeah.
right? So we always are harder on ourselves than anybody else. So, gosh, you know, we're talking so much
I
that
know,
we.
I could just hang out all day. We should mention that we got a show coming up, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
We're going to be at the Bowery Electric
Oh,
on
wow.
February 9th, which is like
February 9th, Friday. It's in a couple
Yeah.
weeks, 3
Yeah.
weeks, I think, from
Yeah,
today.
Lower East Side. We're 8 o'clock. Woodhead will be with us, and another special guest. And 8 o'clock is going to be great. We'll have copies of the album. It'll be
Oh,
the only
wonderful.
place that you can get the album.
That's true.
Because I
Is
was
it-
going to ask, when does
yeah.
it come out? Because you
Yeah.
said it was close to.
For CDs, it'll be February 9th, and then our
Okay.
digital release will be a little bit later.
Okay.
So you'll have to actually get a physical copy the oldfashioned way if you want.
That's
So
great.
swing by Bowery Electric on
That's
the
great.
9th.
Yeah, I'll be
I
there.
plugged it. I plugged it good. That
There
was
you
it.
go.
Yeah.
That
I
was
got
it.
And then where do people find you on social media,
Yeah,
things like
You
that?
can find us on Facebook. We also
Anna
have
Cortez?
Yeah, and then we also have a website, anacortesband.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We're on
And-
Bandcamp. You can search for us on Bandcamp and listen to the first album like that. We're on Spotify, so if you just want to listen to the album, you can do that.
Instagram as well.
It's really amazing on how technology advanced we all have to be in order to be out there. But when people are not, you know, socially connected, I mean, it's really hard to be in contact with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, digital streaming stuff is not really an option anymore. If you're releasing an album, it's not like people
Yeah.
are going to be.
Yeah.
People don't buy as many CDs as they used to.
They really don't.
Records,
but
album, vinyl.
like you said, there's some joy, I think, in actually holding it.
Yes.
There's some joy in having something to sign.
Oh, and you have
There's
fans,
Some,
yeah.
yeah. I remember, as a tie-in on this, I used to work at a video store. It was a very formative job in my life. It was, and just holding a VHS cassette
Right.
tape and turning it over and reading a box or reading a
Yeah.
label. There's something really valuable to that.
Yeah.
So February 9th.
Yeah.
You can do that with
February
our
9th.
Get
record.
one, yeah.
Right. You can meet us all.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Great.
right.
You'll be there.
I'll be there.
Ginger will be there.
Yeah, I was at your show last Sunday.
Yeah.
That was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
With your other group, and
Thanks for
see
coming.
you as a music director and orchestrator, as a conductor.
I do a lot of punch conducting.
Yeah.
Cue like this. 'Cause I don't know how to do it
It's
for
really
real.
great. Well, guys, you're always welcome to come back to the show. I love talking with you. I don't want to take up any more of your time because I want
Let's
the
play
audience.
a couple songs.
Yeah, let's do it.
You have about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So why don't you head over to the stage, the performance area, and
Great.
then
Here
we'll
we
catch
go.
up. We have Shane and Emilio, and they are releasing a new CD from their band Anacortes. And I want you to just start playing when you're ready to go.
You and your terrible puns. You're the match in the kerosene, the thumb to my evergreen thumbs. It's a restless place to come by. Who digs through the trash for the bottles and cans in the night? Love for the strays through the cracks in the fence to the yard. And heat for the hay where they sleep away the days till it's warm. Oh, you shelter their bones from the cold. And oh, the voices we forget are as good as gone. Love for the strays through the cracks in the fence to the yard. My altruistic disguise, it's a useless kind of camouflage, just thin paper out and out loud. But it's one more believable try, with a bag full of mittens and hats for the long subway ride. Take more or less if you feel it's a good use of time. You'll find those hats on the tracks in the summer left behind. Oh, you shelter their bones from the cold. Oh, the voices we forget are as good as gone. Oh, you shelter their bones from the cold. Oh, the voices we forget are as good as gone. Love for the strays through the cracks in the fence to the yard. Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
It's a good thing you guys are here. Okay, here's another song.
Yeah.
All's fair. Hearts were lighter than air, and your tiny feet would follow me anywhere. Homesick takes a pill to fall asleep, and the streets are always open as you need. All those found ourselves away. All those continental crossings, all those miles we have to show. Carry on our educations, holding less and less of home. You'll sing, and every word is digging up a grave. When those melodies find us, we won't be alone. When those melodies find us, we won't be alone. Okay, we might run out of time on this last one. Let's play them out. We'll play them out. Well, no one gets home without it. They don't talk about us anymore. We crushed all our toes about it. We didn't know what our 2 feet were for. In the 70s, you made your masterpiece, but they don't talk about us. Can you soften the whole world? Where would I lie? How long would I last without you?
Hey everybody, we're almost out of time. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to thank you so much for coming. All right, bye everybody. We'll see you.
We'll see you next time.
Yay.
Without you. I'm leaving the show with you now, but every stone in this bridge is a war. The air in your throat defends me. They don't see what we're both fighting for. That it's just you and me, the new cartography. They don't talk about us. Can you soften the whole world? Where will I lie? How long would I last without you? No one gets to go home without you. Home without you. Can you soften the whole world? Can you soften the whole world? No one gets to go home. No one gets to go home without you. No one's getting home without you. No one's getting home without you. They're gone. They're already gone.
Yep.
Bye.
Yay.
Thank you so much for joining in today.
Thank you for having
Emilio.
us. Of course.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Ginger.
Shane, for coming in. Thank you, everyone, for joining in this afternoon show of Ginger New York. We're here live every Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. I hope you really enjoyed their music just as much as I did. And also check out the New York City Guitar School. You can be a singer and songwriter and performer just like them.
It's easy.
Yeah, it's easy, right? Yeah, they're both teachers, so check them out. All right, I'll see you there. Thank you so much for joining in this afternoon show. We'll see you.
Take
We'll see
care.
you next week.